Hi, I'm Brent Campbell. If I could point to just one day when I realized I had to change, it'd have to be the afternoon of April 28th, 2015. I was standing in my driveway when my dad called to tell me about his trip to Houston. He'd gone down to see the most reputed specialist in the United States. As we'd feared, Dad was officially diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. After seeing his symptoms, we'd all quietly worried for months. With that diagnosis, we knew he'd have less than 5 years left, and for much of it, he'd largely be a prisoner in his own body that gradually lost its function by the day. Dad succumbed to the brutal disease after facing it with uncommon grace about 4.5 years later, on November 15th, 2019. I vowed that his life's lesson and the opportunity it created would never be lost on me. Meanwhile, over the course of my adult life, Mom has endured scoliosis, endometriosis, colitis, breast cancer twice. The list goes on. For all her heart, good sense, storytelling ability, and wisdom, her body has been holding her back in one way or another for 2 decades. Then, my brilliant and wise big brother has shown symptoms of type 2 diabetes and has developed psoriatic arthritis. While his health has improved, at its worst, the simple act of chewing food was extremely painful for him. When we'd share a meal together, in the corner of my eye, I could see him chewing his food with tears from the pain streaming down his face as he did his best to soldier through. Walking was painful for him. He had to wear special shoes. Now, according to my Fitbit data, I walk about 50 miles a week, a habit I credit to keeping my mind right, and losing my mobility would be crushing to me. And of course, I wouldn't like to get sick either. With Dad, Mom, and my brother all having health problems, I realized that surely I was next. Miraculously, thus far, I've had no health problems. Is it diet, exercise, luck? I guess in time we'll see. Like I'd mentioned earlier, that conversation I had with Dad in April 2015 about his ALS diagnosis was no doubt a milestone moment in my life. In an instant, everything to me changed. As far back as I can remember, when I become passionately interested in something, I become obsessed and turn every stone trying to understand it as fully as I can. And so it's become with understanding preventative health and how to apply it. I'd long made my living working in marketing, primarily for the pharmaceutical industry, often for cancer treatments. My work involved conducting research and developing an understanding of the struggle that the patients, their caregivers, and their families face during treatment. Upon learning what these folks were going through, our team would then develop resources, content, and ad campaigns to proactively support them in their journey. And, of course, ultimately selling them meds. I read countless stories from patients and their families detailing their struggles. It was very sad, the long, painful road that millions of families faced. While many diseases are genetic and we often can't do much to prevent it, many others are caused by lifestyle choices that bring disease, causing chronic inflammation, which is the root of all disease. What if we could prevent much of this disease people faced? After all, the medical establishment we have in the US today is oriented around treating conditions, not preventing them. I dove in, reading everything I could find about what I could do to prevent someday having no choice but to live through my body falling apart over decades, as so many Americans are forced to endure year after year. With all that said, today, after years of research, planning, testing, and consideration, I begin to lay out for you the most important things I've learned, releasing it every week in bite-sized chunks. As long as I am able, I will continue sharing with you what I've learned and continue to learn along with the key takeaways and relatively simple things you can do that'll make a meaningful difference in your physical health and mental well-being. In some cases, different approaches work for different people. So the diet and exercise methods that have proven to work for me over the long run won't necessarily be the habits you'll settle into. Yet, at the very least, I believe I can inspire you and give you some hacks that'll make your life better as you work to develop the health routine that works for you. At the least, I will offer you an education you can easily absorb and work into your routine, as I found that knowledge of how different foods affect your body makes the difference. To give an example, when you go to make dinner, you can make the decision between preparing your meal with what amounts to poison for your body versus fuel that's packed with nutrition that supports your body's vital functions. The decision between the two isn't a tough one once you're educated. Oftentimes, it's as simple as knowing which cooking oil to use. Your wallet can barely tell the difference, nor can your taste buds, but your body sure can. Getting educated and using that knowledge to make the best decisions every day will more than likely add years to your life and quality of life to those years. Please do subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you for watching. See you next time.